Welcome to Dmac's Mad Gaming. I'm your host Dmac, and here we believe gaming is a lifestyle, not a hobby. And today, in episode 3 of the For Honor series, we're going to be talking about the story mode for For Honor. We all know For Honor came out on February 14th, and you haven't got a chance to play the story yet because you've been too busy playing multiplayer and having a fantastic time. Don't worry, I got your back. I'm going to go and give you my first impressions of it, and I'm going to do it by giving you 3 pros and 3 cons. Each pro and con that I talk about in this video, I'm going to give you details into the reason why I feel that it's a pro and why I feel that it's a con, and show you some gameplay as well to let you see a whole visual of what I'm talking about. So let's get started. Here we go. So the first pro we're going to talk about is the boss battles. The boss battles is a pro to me because they were unique, different, and really engaging. They weren't the greatest boss battles in the world, but they was good enough for me to keep engaged in the gameplay to finish the story. Because without the boss battles, I don't think I would have finished the story at all. So I'm going to show you 2 of my favorite boss battles and show you why I feel like they are my 2 favorite boss battles and why the boss battles themselves can be a pro, because it really helped me finish the game. And I'm telling you that when you play the For Honor story, then it will help you finish as well. So let's take a look at them. The first final boss scene that I really enjoyed was the horseback chase. It was a lot of fun. I was busting the wood, taking out enemy Vikings on their horseback, chasing down this dude because he's been robbing and pillaging other Viking tribes, taking all their food, probably taking their women, stuff like that. So the story built it up for you for this moment to be intense. So which is the reason why I enjoyed it a lot. And it was a lot of fun. I got to bust through wood, kill some Vikings on horseback, got to run through some fire, even though it damaged a little bit. It was just still fun running through it. You didn't supposed to run into the fire or the wood, but I just did it for the hell of it because it just made it more exciting. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it was really good for me. I mean, it helped me complete the Viking story, because without that, I probably wouldn't have finished it. It was really fun. And I kind of enjoyed it. It was a change of pace, and I really think that's important, especially in a campaign or a story for any type of game. So I really enjoyed this, and as you see, I'm just haul-ass. Enemies coming at me, I'm taking them out, pushing that dude through the fire, went through the fire myself, and you just keep going and going until you catch them. And that's why this is one of my favorite final boss fights. And so I have one more for you guys that I want you to see, and this one will be against the samurai and the leader of the knights. So let's take a look at it. You know, why are you asking me is this my favorite one? Because it was challenging and exciting at the same time. The story been leading you up to this fight, and you get to finish it with the samurai, and that's just what made it more fun for me, made it more personal for me. And I just enjoyed the battle with her, because not only you battle with her, you battle with her minions too, and each one of them are just as tough as the last one. Sometimes they attack you 1-on-1, sometimes they attack you 2-on-2, sometimes they take you 3 against 1, and you got to use all your abilities to win this fight. But from the beginning of the boss fight, you fight her first, and she's tough. She does a lot of heavy attacks, and sometimes she hits you with some quick attacks, and it's just rough. And you got to be ready to defend and block and attack at the moment notice, or you will be destroyed. And as you see here, I'm being double teamed already, using one of my abilities to heal to keep me from being destroyed. And I just really enjoyed that challenge and that change of pace where I'm fighting more than one tough enemy at a time, seeing how I measure up, testing my merits. And I just enjoyed that. I would love to play this final boss fight again on hard, just to make it even more challenging. So this is why I enjoyed this fight. So now we're going to go to the second pro that I want to talk to you guys about the For Honor story, is that you get to play with each class from each faction. You get to play with the Vikings, each of their classes, the knights, and the samurai. And each time each faction that you play with each one of the classes in a simple mission. Like mission 1 would be here with this class. Say like you got the samurai, so you'll play with the Kinshi first, and then you go with the next one, and then one after that. It was really fun and really informative because they taught you some basic abilities that you could use to play on the multiplayer. So I thought it was pretty cool. And so the last pro is the cutscenes. The cutscenes were done wonderfully. The voice acting was done well. It was really done really well. It made me feel like I was really there in that time, dealing with all that chaos. So I enjoyed that. So now we're going to talk about the cons. This is where it gets rough, guys. So let's get started. All right, the first con I'm going to talk about for the For Honor story is the basic mechanic tutorial. They're going to go through the basic mechanic tutorial again during the story. And I didn't understand that because when you first buy the game and you install it and you first turn it on and play it, they take you through a battle mechanics tutorial. Teach you how to lock on, how to block, how to attack. So why would you need to implement it again in the actual story? I think that was a waste. They really didn't need that at all. We know the basic mechanics to blocking and attacking and dodging. Now, I didn't mind when they did the tutorial for some of the characters or the classes for the factions on how to do some of their advanced moves or some of their more simple combo moves. That's okay because that's something that they don't teach you through the tutorial, and if you don't go looking for these advanced attacks and combos, you won't be able to find out what I'm looking for. So for them to add that in the story was okay, but to add the basic mechanics in the story, that was a no-no. That was a waste of time and effort, I feel like, for the developers of this game for Honor. I mean, I didn't really understand that at all. I thought that was just a waste of my time. This is what really kind of made me feel like I really didn't want to finish the story when I first did this. Because I'm like, why did you teach me the basic mechanics again? I know the basic battle mechanics. I don't need you to tell me again how to do it. Now, a couple people argue with me, well, maybe the ones that bought it and didn't play the beta needed a second a tutorial lesson. You get a tutorial right before when you start the game. And then as you play and you still don't know and master the basic mechanics, then you can go back to the practice mode and learn the basic mechanics. So I don't understand the reason why they would have this in the story. I think that was a waste of time. That's the first con that really upset me. The second is the simple objectives. The objectives were too simple for me. And they wasn't challenging. They wasn't exciting. They was just really the basic. In each mission, you had a couple objectives you had to do before you fought a final boss. Now, for me, the boss objective was pretty cool, but the regular mission objectives were boring, not fun, not interesting at all. I mean, I was really struggling to finish this game because of these problems they had. Because, I mean, the objectives weren't really fun at all. They were terrible. And I'm going to show you one of the objectives that I thought was really stupid and let you see the actual gameplay and explain to you what the objectives are. And you can tell me in the comments below if you think these objectives were retarded or not. So here, let's take a look at this clip. Okay, we're going to show you a clip where we feel like the objectives were stupid and really not well thought out and really just made no sense and was boring. Now, as you see, I jumped down and killed one of my enemies, and now I'm fighting 3 new enemies. And even though the enemies were challenging, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the combat. The combat was a lot of fun, but the objectives themselves made no sense to me in some aspects, and I'm going to show you why. As you see here, I'm fighting these enemies, and these enemies are giving me a little tough time because I'm new to working with the Peacemaker. Had to get my bearings, but you see, I'm able to eliminate them without too much of a hassle. And then as I run up, I see more than one. Now, when I first started, it was only 3 there. Now there's 4. But as you see, I get closer to the door, I can't go inside. I'm pushing them inside, and they will not let me inside to take them out. And so the reason I'm asking is, why would they have me close the door for when I can't even enter to see who I'm locking inside of the building? And the kicking thing about it, all of it, is that I don't even go into that building. I go around the building up to the next building. So what was the whole point of closing that door? Oh, to eliminate, to keep enemies from coming to interfere. But you can't even go inside to see if there's any enemies there to attack you. And as I kill him, you want to kill the killer part, I lock the door, right? So the whole police on me locking the door so no enemies can come out that building and come around to interfere with me. And as I come in here to do my thing, come to sabotage, I think the mechanics for the doors and things like that, I put a thing there to sabotage it because I am an assassin. That's what I do. And look, another enemy runs up. So what was the whole point of locking that door? That's why I say that the objectives for some of these missions were stupid, unoriginal, made no sense at all. But the combat and the challenge of the combat was pretty fun. And you know you gotta love your executions. But that's what I'm saying is a con, because the objectives for each mission
the regular objectives, not the boss battle objectives, the regular objectives made no sense. Some of the parts that you do that doesn't make any sense at all. It was a waste of time for me. I don't see how that even made any sense, because even if I was supposed to lock the door, why was it another enemy running up behind me for? It made no sense. And why would they have me lock a door if I wasn't going to sneak around and go inside the door? I don't really understand it. I think that was really just something for them to have you do to add another objective to the mission. And that's why I feel like this was a con, because I feel like the objectives for the For Honor story were not original, not exciting, and not unique enough to even keep me engaged. The only reason I played through them was because of the cutscenes, the boss battles. I mean, that was about it. And the different classes I got to play with through each mission. That's the reason why I continue. But this was the second con that really did it for me. Now we're going to talk about the last con, which is the ending of the story. Which just kind of like, what? You was doing well with the story up to this part. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into that. So here we go. Here is the final con, and this was the biggest one for me, besides the tutorial on the basic mechanics of battle. You play through the story, you play with each faction, you use each class to complete your objectives to help your faction win this war. And after all that, this is the ending they give us, when they all sitting together in a room talking about peace, and one is hesitant about peace, the other one knows why do you want peace, and then they ask him who wants this peace, and he doesn't want to tell them, and we don't even know how long it took place after the battle with the leader of the Knights. I mean, I don't understand that at all. I mean, I think that was the most dumbest ending ever they could have done. They could have did better than this. I mean, I know it's basically they want you to play the multiplayer, and don't get me wrong, the multiplayer is fantastic. There's lots of options in the multiplayer. You can play as humans against each other, or team up against other humans. You can play against AIs and team up with one AI and play against AI. There's lots of options in the multiplayer. What I don't understand is why we won't have more options in the story itself. The only two options you have is co-op and playing it on a higher difficulty. That's the only two options you have on here. And I feel like that this story was good up to the ending. I mean, they don't even let us know, did this take place a year, or months, or days after the final battle. I mean, I feel like it was just a waste. They just slapped the ending together and said, here, take this, we're not doing no more with it. Maybe if we raise up enough noise, they'd give us a better ending by releasing the DLC like they did for the Mass Effect 3. But we guys got to make noise about that. I really didn't understand it. That pissed me off the most. It made me feel like I wasted my time. And this is why I'm bringing this to you, so that you won't waste your time with the story unless you want to get the extra gear and stuff you get as you play through the story. So these are my pros and cons about the For Honor story. Thank you guys for staying to the end. My name is Dmac, and you've been watching Dmac's Man Gaming. And if you like this video, slash that like button. And if you want to see more content, subscribe. I'm Dmac, and I'm out.